if you start this one. Yeah.
All right, your fullest attention for group 2.
Hello, everyone. My name is Harry, and along with Allison Leacock, Nicholas Miller, and Alexandria Plant, we are presenting How to Live to be 110 years old. So our project focused on supercentenarians, who are people that can live to be over 110 years old. And we are seeing whether or not there's a genetic influence on survival, or if it's a lifestyle thing that helps them live for so long. So I want to start by introducing you to two people. The first is Henry. He was born in 1896 in the UK, when life expectancy was 45.4 years. There's some formatting thing going on here. And Masao, who was born in Japan in 1898, when the average life expectancy for a woman was 38.6 years. And so the question is, how are these two people with super different lifestyles, he likes to smoke and drink whiskey, she likes to sleep and eat sushi, how are they outliving their contemporaries by 70 to 80 years despite different kinds of lifestyles? And so a group at Boston University Medical Center wanted to figure this out, working under the hypothesis that supercentenarians have genetic variants influencing their survival, meaning that there's a genetic component helping these people live for so long and outliving their contemporaries. They use a method called genome-wide association between the supercentenarians and the control, with the control being a group of people whose mean parent age of death was 75, thus eliminating any genetic component to longevity for them. And so they looked at single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs, using a chip that probed for SNP chips. And there are 150 of these variants in the genome, and within these 150, they characterize 19 genetic signatures or clusters. And this characterized 90% of the supercentenarian study, which is a huge number and incredible correlation to longevity in the supercentenarians. And so, what is the importance of the study, right? And why is it significant? If we understand the genome of people who can live so long, and thus be resistant to age-related diseases such as cancer and Alzheimer's, perhaps we can look for people who are susceptible to those very same diseases, and therefore have advances in personalized and preventive medication, and therefore treat the people before they even get the disease. And who wouldn't want to prevent their grandparent from getting cancer or Alzheimer's, right? And so this might be great. Perhaps we have like a fountain of youth of sorts. But not quite. The study at BU had its flaws. They used several SNP chips, which is great, but one of them was the Illumina 610, which happened to be faulty. It was oversensitive and over-identified these SNPs that correlated with exceptional longevity, meaning that they found too many more than they read. Furthermore, to make matters worse, it was randomly decided that the supercentenarians got these chips more than they controlled, and this led to BU from retracting the study from publication. But they weren't done. They wanted to see if the study was at least reliable, meaning that it was reproducible between experiments. Because if it was not their model that's wrong, it was actually the chip's fault, right? So they did it again, same chips, and got the same result. So it wasn't their fault, it was more of a manufacturing error. Still, they were still criticizing for publishing too quickly without double-checking everything. And this put everything in doubt because of validity. And so if we don't know what to do, we gotta look at the longest-lived mammal on the planet, right? And that's the bow-headed whale, which can live to be over 200 years old and be resistant to age-related diseases such as cancer. And they're huge, right? So it's weird that with 1,000 times more cells, they actually have a similar cancer risk as us, because roughly more cells, more mutation, more cancer. So there must be some molecular adaptation that helps these bow-headed whales live for so long, right? So wondering this very same thing, Kinetal sequenced the genome of the bow-headed whale, thinking that perhaps there really is something helping them live for so long. And they found mutations in genes associated with resistance to cancer and aging, which included proto-oncogenes that help make more efficient DNA and cellular repair during replication. And these were found to be under positive selection, meaning that they were passed on through evolution, through the lineage of bow-headed whales to today. So now every bow-headed whale has these genes that help them live longer. And so what's the importance of this, right? Why do we care about whales? Well, if we understand the genome of the whales and what helps them live for so long, perhaps we can analyze our own genome and see if we have comparable genes that help us, or the supercentenarians, live for so long. So in 2014, Guillermo et al. Sequenced the genome of 17 supercentenarians, seeing if we have comparable proteins and genes to these bow-headed whales. And so at first they had to look at lifestyle, right, to make sure it wasn't that. They found that the supercentenarians and the controls did not differ significantly in lifestyle, meaning they had similar kinds of eating, drinking, smoking, and exercising. And despite this, there's a 30% difference rate in incidence of cancer throughout the lifetime, 19% versus 49%. It's a significant number, but not as significant as you think lifestyle would be, right? You think if you smoke more, higher chance of cancer, but 30% is not that much in concerning at all. This is a table summarizing the 17 supercentenarian study. As you can see, at the time of study, there's only 2 age-related diseases, cancer and Alzheimer's. And it's hard to see, but the cognitive impairment is very little considering their age. For example, one was a practicing physician to the age of 103. Another was was driving efficiently to the age of 107. So there's something going on with these people that helped them live for so long and so effectively. And so Guillermo and Tal wanted to figure out what it was. They found a rare protein variant along with the gene that coded for the protein that characterized some of these supercentenarians. But it turns out it was not significant, unfortunately, and with a p-value of 0.17 compared to the alpha of 0.05, meaning that it could not be explained by one single gene as it was seen in the bow-headed whale. But did not exclude the possibility that it was multiple genes interacting as one for one phenotype through epistasis. And so let's bring it all back together by summarizing the three studies. The first BU study turned out to be bogus, right? Because of the flawed chip leading to errors in validity, but not reliability, so it wasn't their fault. The study of bow-headed whales revealed further evidence of genetic influence, meaning that something in the whales that helped them live for 200 years. And this led to Guillermo and Tal determining that it's not a single gene, but rather multiple genes interacting as one, but we're not quite sure yet what it is. And so I want to close the way we started by returning to Henry Massal. Henry died in 2009 at the age of 113, while Massal died last April at the age of 117. The different lifestyles show that while it is influential, it's not the only component. And while genetics does have a role, it's up to further research to find out. And these are some of the things that Henry Massal lived to. 1912, the Titanic. 1903, the Wright brothers. 1969, the moon. 21st century matchbooks and space.